with Dr. Goodluck's stunning revelations. Stunning revelations. And already he has come under attack as an individual. What has not come under attack is whether or not he was speaking the truth. But it is typical of politicians in government. Try to belittle, demean, humiliate, character assassinate the messenger rather than address the content of the message. It is most interesting that the episode was captured on video, seemingly on location. Of course, we expect to hear responses galore. What is important, however, is Dr. Goodluck's own clear statements on the state of the facility, an institution where the system is intended to save lives. Huh? So Dr. Goodluck is heard saying, and we quote, "This is ridiculous. This is an emergency room where you come to save lives. Look at the place. Watch." Yeah. End of quote. And Goodluck says, Goodluck, clearly mindful of the tribalistic politics that has engulfed St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the last several years, is heard saying, and we quote, "You know, as I talk here, I inhaling something. Look at this. And when you talk the truth, they come and talking about you trying to make the Prime Minister look bad and all kind of stupidness. Look at that." End of quote. Look at that. And then he goes on. Look at Fungus and Vincentians for the same love of labor. They're afraid to speak. End of quote. So people ask, who's responsible? How Ralph responsible for that? The man never say Ralph responsible for that. He was pointing out something in the nation's main hospital. The immediate authorities within the hospital, maintenance and whoever else, are responsible for that. But if you know anything about the structure of the administration, then as we are aware, it goes all the way to the top. That is the norm. It is the Prime Minister who stood up and told us, Prime in Prime Minister means first, I have to know about everything. And he makes it his business to show that he knows about everything, even though we know different. But at least he tries to give the impression he knows about everything. You know. But the fact of the matter is, it is the system that is broken. It is the system that is broken. You know, it's no different really from the fact that we were promised since 2001 that we would have in place in different parts of the country stock of equipment and material so that we don't have to wait till once in a blue moon to be fixing roads and potholes, etc., etc. We'll be doing that on a regular basis. There'll be a rotation system for maintenance of our roads. Yeah? Yeah? You have 18 years of that. Where is it? Where is it? Right? So people have to be driving in the road in the pothole. Because in some areas, that's what you have. The road is in the pothole. You can't get away from it. People's lives. People's lives. What we will do is ask for them to be cautious. So if people have to go and buy their own medication, it is because they are concerned about the lives of their relatives and friends and their own lives. And some of them are just fed up of saying to the media, we had to go and do this. Because they have no real redress. They have no real redress. What redress do they have? You have to have money for the redress. That's why we started this program. Remembering you that it's the 11th anniversary of the gruesome death of Patricia Bowman. Huh? Crushed in her car, going about her business to work on a rainy morning. On the 19th of September 2008. And 11 years later, the husband still waiting on justice because he must go and make the case himself. He must put out his money and make a case because of his wife. So where's the law? Where is the law in all of this? What should have been an open and shut case? Where is the law in all of this? Huh? Insurance company, where is it? Very simple human justice. Yeah? Every day you drive past that place in Ratomil, you're supposed to feel away. You're supposed to feel away. You're supposed to feel hurt. Because that is how justice is administered in the country. Every time you pass there, you're supposed to say a prayer for Patricia Bowman and her husband. And what he, Alban, would have been going through all these years. Every time he passes that place, it must remind him. Every time he enters his home, he will remember how he lost his wife. And we glibly go about our business and claim that we are a Christian society. Christ cried out for justice, and justice for all. He says that is our mandate as Christians. That is our mandate. It is not the well who need the doctor. Our commitment is to ensure that all who need the doctor get what they deserve in terms of the appropriate medical treatment. That is the Christian message. And to the extent that our religious leaders choose to play politics instead of fulfilling their mandate, they are as guilty as the perpetrators of these conditions, horrific conditions in our nation's leading hospital. Their silence is wrong and unchristian. You know, whatever the Prime Minister and or the Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment may come up with in the next few days and weeks by way of response, Dr. Goodluck has already written the epithet, as he stated, and we quote, "And we are saving lives." Where? In here? All you're making bear sport. That is the epithet. That is the ultimate epithet. What has been the norm in our political practice and praxis has been to have some high-ranking official come afterwards and try to belittle the individual and will away the truth about the conditions. But if you live in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you are aware of the problems that we have with our health system. As the people who work at what we are boasting is a smart hospital in North Leeward, and they will tell you just how smart it is. It's so smart that they're not sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It perhaps too smart. We can talk a lot of foolishness as politicians, because much of it is foolishness. We are attempting to convince the people that we are always doing what is in their best collective interest, when individually you've seen the growth in wealth and acumen of our politicians. Look around. Look around. Look around at those who are eating off the fat of the hog alongside their political friends. Look around. They have to keep their mouths shut because they will lose their political largesse. Look around. Those so-called progressives have proven themselves to be among the most regressive and backward in the country, because the political droppings or the economic droppings from the political table is so critical to their survival. So critical to their survival. Those who were anxious to jump on the bandwagon of the odd thing in 2000 and who promised the nation, because they saw an opportunity, who promised the nation, this odd thing is not intended to be a fly-by-night organization, they said. It is here to become a major guardian of democracy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines going forward. This is historic. And as soon as the decision was made to call elections, you heard nothing further of the odd thing. And none of them had enough shame to come back to the public and tell them the truth. Not one of them. And where are they now? Go see. Go see where they are. This is an administration that you remember before taking office in 2001. In the campaign of 2000 and 2001, committed to challenging the Graves, the Bonadis, and the Veras, Vincentians, who developed their own businesses. But they were anxious to treat them with disdain because they weren't, as businesses, supporting the then opposition ULP. And so people who knew how these institutions came to be established, people who knew and who know how those institutions survive, and the role they have played in the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, stood by and applauded when the campaign was saying, we have to deal with them. Essentially, that's what they were saying, more or less. We have to deal with the Graves, the Bonadis, and the Veras. Yeah, we have to deal with them. And then we were inviting any individual and or group that prepared to get into the supermarket business. You're most welcome. Was it that Ken Boye bit the bait? And the people from St. Lucia? What was the intention? To wipe out the Graves, the Bonadis, and the Veras? That was the intention. The same Graves that took a dying distillery and had transformed Vincentian rums into award-winning global products. Those are the same Graves that we were talking about. Are those the same Graves that we are talking about? So what did the Graves, the Bonadis, and the Veras do to the ULP? that they should have become objects for derision on political platforms across the country. What did they do to deserve that? But this is the nature of our society. And while we are talking about our healthcare system, the media also talked about the living conditions for police officers at our main police station, people. Our main police station, the police headquarters in Kingston. You cannot believe what you have seen and heard. And the response is that it is now in the estimates. But the condition that you have didn't just happen last year, in the last few months. So for us to be told now it is in the estimates for 2020 doesn't mean zilch. It does not mean zilch. How long were these conditions in place? Our Minister of National Security had boasted of how much he loved the police. How much the police was so overlooked by the previous political regime that he will take care of them. But look at your newspapers and look at Eyewitness News and understand the conditions under which the main institution in policing, the police headquarters, becomes the laughing stock of the nation. Is that a lie too? And will we be told what we're going to do with it and how we're going to transform it into a most modern facility? Isn't that where we should have started? Isn't that where we should have started? So a commissioner of police talking about just about everything except the conditions under which he and his officers and then what should be the nation's prepared police institution, the conditions under which they work every single day of their lives. And he says nothing. Right? Because he can't bring it to the public notice. He has to get permission. Yeah? But it is finally brought to the public notice. Right? And as the news shows you the big hole in the ceiling and says it is a unique form of air conditioning. Or is it a unique form of air conditioning? Yeah? They put you the pictures. They show you the pictures. Despicable. In the heart of our capital city. In what is a heritage site. That institution really should be a heritage site. We have kept the facade by and large. But as you enter, you're amazed at the conditions there. How long were these conditions in existence? How long have they been in decline? And you've watched one commissioner after another sit in that squalor, watching the officers over whom they have command, and remain quietly satisfied with the existing conditions. Quietly satisfied with the existing conditions. They love you, police officers. They love you. That's why they treat you so. They love you. If we as a nation, dear friends, continue to display immense fear of realizing, speaking, and addressing the truth, we are lost. We are lost. Enough of the lies and enough of the acceptance of the lies. Dare to challenge by holding positions of truth and the provision of evidence of that truth. Don't accept the nonsense that we didn't know. They know. They know. Yet they continue to push you in another direction. It is always somebody else's fault. It is always we can't do everything every time. So who sets the priorities? Who determines which direction we should go at any point in time? Who does that? We continue to sell the world the lie that we have one of the best medical systems. Best medical systems where? But just another look will tell you this truth. We have watched those who continue to boast that they are making efforts to facilitate regional unity and sub-regional unity. We have witnessed their quiescence as Dominica lost the Ross Hospital, University Hospital, which was responsible for more than 60% of its annual gross domestic product. The Ross University people were saying that it had to do with the fact that they were taking too long to guarantee rehabilitation of the facilities. You have had prime ministers in the sub-region, in the region, talking nonsense about it was all right for Ross to move out of Dominica and go to Barbados, given the circumstances. And that Barbados accepted it because they were thinking of going somewhere else. But rather than making a collective endeavor as a region to facilitate a more rapid fire rehabilitation and perhaps expansion of the facilities for us in Dominica as a collective, they allowed Dominica to lose it. And they love our Caribbean people. They love us. And yet that is how they treat one of ours. They love Dominica so much that they could not pool their resources to facilitate the rehabilitation of a facility and an organization, institutional framework, etc., that was responsible for 60+% of the country's annual gross domestic product. That is love. That is love. But it is kind of love that kills. They smother you to death with their political rhetoric and utter rubbish. And they expect you to accept it because you had given them the vote. Regardless of what political party comes to you people, always insist on truth. Always eyeball them and dare to request of them the truth. The unbridled version of the truth. You can't get the truth. A prime minister stands up and takes more than half an hour, nearly 45 minutes of parliamentary time in January of 2011 to tell you about a plot and provided absolutely no evidence of substance. To this day, there's not been a case made out of that particular piece of political trite delivered in Parliament. Wastage of parliamentary time. Old-time story tale. But that is what we have become. We have become a people who are supposed to sit down and listen glibly as item after item on the news each night tells us how well the government is doing. Why was SVG TV not able to visit the hospital and tell us the truth? Why? Why was VC3 not able to tell us the truth? Why was API, which when it was being established, Glenn Jackson told us, you will get the truth. You will get the truth. He got his truth. Brutally murdered. His wife asked for justice at the funeral. And she cautioned, I don't want scapegoat justice. And yet that is all she got. Scapegoat justice. Albert Bowman can't even get to that stage of being in receipt of scapegoat justice. That is what we have become as a people, dear friends. That is where we are today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Your healthcare system is in tatters. And the institution where you're supposed to receive medical treatment, the institution at which you're supposed to receive medical treatment to save your life, may well be the institution where fungus and other things may be working contrary to that which the medical practitioners should be doing in order to facilitate your health and well-being. But today, the 21st day of September 2019, marks 4,652 days since the disappearance of SVG Air J8VAX. Dominic Gonzalez was the pilot, Rashid Ibrahim, the unfortunate passenger. It is also 3,332 days since the disappearance of SVG Air J8SXY, piloted by Suresh Lakram, called out for a mercy mission. He died on that mercy mission. We've seen not a trace of evidence of where those planes are or where they went. J8SXY, J8VAX. Enough said. You've been listening to another edition of Nice Radio's Callaloo presentation, Just Another Look. Just Another Look is an innovative, exciting, albeit decidedly provocative, and yes, certainly controversial, socio-political analysis of issues of a local, regional, and international nature. Just Another Look is heard only on Nice Radio, first aired on Saturdays at 6 p.m., with repeat broadcasts on Sundays at 9 p.m. You can always catch us on the World Wide Web, www.niceradio.info. You can check out our Just Another Look blog, www.justanotherlook.com. I am, of course, Keith Joseph.